Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm happy to have you here. Today we are going to be talking about my Sweet Petunia's Precision Glue Press, which just came out. Now, I was in the middle of making my video of making 5 cards with 1 plate using this plate. And I wasn't going to use the Precision Glue Press with that. I was going to go ahead and use something that had a lot of die cuts in it to make cards and stuff like that. However, what happened was, while I was in the middle of making my cards with this, I came across an issue, which is the exact reason why I bought the glue press. So while I was making this card, I was using my art glitter glue, which is my favorite and which is what I use all the time. I like this because it dries so clear and it's very adhesive, it's very sticky. But one of the pain points that I've always had with this glue is how quickly it dries, which is great for when you're making cards. It does give you that like little 15-second wiggle room when you're putting card pieces together, but it does dry very quickly, which means that if I'm gluing a lot of pieces together, what ends up happening is that this over here, I've got it, I'm doing my stuff, come back to it, and I find that it has been clogged. And that is exactly what happened when I was making one of these cards. And not only was it clogged, it actually, I don't know if you can see, the pin, the top of the pin actually came off. So the pin that I use in this tiny little nozzle here actually came off, so it's stuck. So this nozzle is now no good. And this is a pain point that I have had forever and ever with this glue. And most glues in particular. I don't want to like say that this is glue in particular is the problem, but this is something that happens with all glues. The moment you set it aside for a minute, all of a sudden the nozzle is all dried up and it's hard to use and you have to unstick it and all this stuff. So I saw Jennifer McGuire using this precision glue press, and when I first saw it I was like, well, that doesn't look like anything I will ever need to use. I thought, why would I need to use this? You know, squeezing this out of the bottle is totally fine. And, you know, it didn't seem like it was going to be that much more precise. Now, the way that this works is this is made specifically to work with the Nuvo glue, deluxe adhesive. Here you go. And I have used Nuvo drops before for like embellishments and stuff like that. I like their stuff. But I have never used their adhesive before, so I presume that it'll be good. They make good stuff, but it's not been my preferred adhesive. So it's great that in addition to this bottle of adhesive, they actually give you an empty bottle as well that I'm going to go ahead and put my own art glitter glue in just a moment. It does come with 2 different tops. So it comes with a fine tipped top, and it comes with a thicker tip top. So I presume you can just exchange those whenever you want to. Another thing that is really nice about this is that it actually has the needle on the inside. So you're not constantly hunting for where did that go to put that in there so that it doesn't end up having an issue with the glue sticking. So putting that right back in there. And it is nice that with this top here, you can actually see this pretty quickly when you're looking for your pieces. Anyway, so that is what comes with it, along with this stand. So fairly simple. And the way that it works, you see there's just this piece on the inside that when you squeeze, it just squeezes the bottle. Okay. So I first saw this and I was like, you know, that's cool and all, but like I really don't need it. It doesn't look like it's going to be any more precise than any other type of glue that I would use. I could see this being useful maybe for somebody who has like arthritis and squeezing this little bottle is more difficult for them. Anybody with like mobility issues, like, yeah, that makes sense. But for me, it's like this is pretty expensive. I think it was like $45 with shipping. That's pretty expensive for a piece of equipment like this that seemed more like a luxury, and like why would I in particular, who doesn't have any mobility issues, at least at this point in my life, want this? Well, I'll tell you what made me buy this, and it's particularly this pain point of the glue drying too quickly and clogging up that nozzle. And it is this little piece in here. Now, I don't know if you can see this. In here, there's almost like a little lip, and there's a little silicone button kind of here. You kind of see that little silicone button there. Now, what I was told was that when you use your glue in this, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this in like as if I were going to use it. Wait, how do I use this? I put it in, oh, take this off. Okay, so I put this in as if I was going to use it. When I am in the middle of using it, as I am using it with my different pieces and stuff, and I'm gluing things together, and I'm, you know, putting all my die pieces and putting my cards together and stuff, in between that, I can go ahead and just put it in this stand. And now what this does, you see that right there? Do you see how the tip of that nozzle hits that silicone little pillow right there? And that will prevent it from drying out. That will prevent it from the glue causing that issue with the sticking and the clogging. So that is the reason I got this, because I spend so much time trying to unstick and unclog, and like I said, you know, here it is. This is it in action. You know, this is totally stuck together, and I'd have to go and order a new nozzle because I don't actually have another nozzle for this. So I'd be kind of stuck for a little while, not being able to use my favorite glue. So that's why I decided to haul this out for the rest of my video with this Better Press plate, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, one of the concerns I do have with this is this tip is pretty sharp, that this silicone piece. And I do worry that this silicone piece, now I'm sure that it's good quality and my Sweet Petunia makes good quality things, but that is very sharp. And I do worry that after repeated use, what it's going to happen is that it's going to create a hole in that silicone. However, we will see. I will give an update at some point if it does. After a few months of using this, I will let you know how it's going. But that is a concern that I have. So in addition to being able to use this stand like that, which is super handy, it also has a little spot for the top. So that is very handy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and continue using that, and I will let you know how it goes. Now, something that's just really interesting about just using this now, this was actually pretty hard to squeeze. I am surprised. I thought this was going to be a lot easier than it was. This actually hurt my hand quite a bit to be using it. So my original thought had been that this would be a good tool for somebody with arthritis, but I don't actually think that that's true. Again, this is my very first time using it, so my opinion might change. It might be that this is, you know, the glue bottle is so full, maybe that makes it more difficult. But my initial impression was that this had a lot more resistance and was more difficult to use than I thought it would be. And by difficult to use, I don't mean like it's, you know, takes a lot of like knowledge or skill to use. I just mean it took a lot more pressure than I thought there was going to need to be in order to use this. Again, this is taking a fair amount of pressure to put down and is actually causing a little bit of strain right there. So I had it down on this with the little pillow there. You can see there's some glue that still came out. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll see if that makes any difference. I'm just going to take this off here. See if that clogged it up at all, because right, that's the whole point of this, is that it doesn't clog. So all right, so it didn't clog, and it looks like it didn't stay on the little pillow that this is on either. Like the glue came out, but it didn't actually attach to that silicone pillow there. So that's good. This should be all glued together now. Now I used this Nuvo glue versus my my art glue, and take a look at this. I don't know if you can see it. The glue did stay visible. So that is 1 point again for the art glitter glue. And this, for all the time that it's been on there, this has probably been at least half an hour that I had like a book or something like laying on there. It doesn't seem like it's completely dry. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put the top back on. Got to get that little needle in there. Do you see that little needle? No, did I get it in? This is harder than it looks. And the older I get, the worse my eyesight is getting. I had to have reading glasses the first time this year, so that is a pretty fine little point to have on there. Okay, taking that off. This one is with a thicker tip, and I just put this little piece of washi tape on here to just indicate that this is the art glitter glue. So let's see how this one does in comparison to the Nouveau adhesive. Let's do a little happy birthday banner. And I'm just gonna put that here. Now, this with the better art glitter glue is coming out a lot faster. And you can see here the puddle of glue that is there from this. So, not super thrilled, but I'm going to experiment with the different nozzle and see if that helps. Again, one of the things I like about the art glitter glue is that this will dry clear. And I think what I am actually going to do, I'm going to change out the nozzle and I'm going to put the thinner nozzle on the art glitter glue because this is coming out faster. So let's see if this helps keep it from coming out too fast, and see if this helps with squeezing it and not having to squeeze so hard. Just trying to clean this out. So okay, here's another kind of difficult thing with this, guys, is how do you clean this out? Because this is not particularly, look at, this is terrible. Look at that mess. How are you supposed to clean the glue off of that? I don't see any particular way that this comes out. So when the glue gets in there, that is not a great design, guys. Like, this is going to get covered in glue because it has been. I've used this twice and it is getting covered in glue. So we really need a better way to get the glue off of that little silicone plate there. All right, let's keep this here for right now. Let's see if this does better and maybe doesn't let as much glue out with the smaller nozzle. So when I was originally going to review the precision press, I was originally going to use some die cuts because obviously those need a lot of glue, so I thought it'd be a great way to test this out. So even though I started using it a bit earlier than I anticipated because my other glue got stuck, I thought it would still be good to give it a go and to see how it does gluing this entire card together. So this card is all about the Spellbinders. It was the Die of the Month kit. It made this card. So we're going to go ahead and put this together. I thought it was a really cool card, and I don't usually make a lot of die cut cards because it is a bit fussy for me. I don't often have the patience to do it all, but I thought that this would be perfect to test out the glue press. So we will go ahead and do that. Now, I do think that it's nice to go ahead and lay these out ahead of time. It is helpful to know exactly like what the colors and everything are, and how they're all going to go together, and doing it one by one can sometimes be a little overwhelming for me, so I like laying them out. Some other thing that's really helpful is I have this container that while I am going ahead and doing my crafts and everything like that, anything that I have extra, even little tiny bits and pieces like this, I go ahead and stick them in here, which I'm really glad I did because almost all of the little pieces of paper here that I am using for this particular card I'm going to make all came from this container of leftover pieces. So if you don't do that, I think that's a great tip. Go ahead and keep a container of leftover pieces that you're like, this is too small, I don't know what to do with. Well, you know, like I am going to use all these small pieces. So it may be a part of my hoarding tendencies as well, but it has turned out to be useful. So that's my tip for you. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to die cut all of these, and there you have it. So all of my little pieces have been cut out. I like using a little tray like this for my die cut pieces. This is from just the Dollar Tree, but it helps to separate out like all the different pieces, and when you are die cutting, and like some of these pieces are just so tiny that it would be really easy to lose them. So I just find this handy and helpful. So these are the dies. These are all the die cuts. Now let's put them together. Card made entirely with the glue press. There you go. So as you can see, as I've been using it, the tip has gotten a little gummy, but the interior has stayed clear. So that's the important thing. The exterior has gotten gummy. The interior has gotten a little gummy as well. So let's see if we can clean that out. Let's see how easy that is to clean it out, because earlier it wasn't. So it is still hard to get anything in there. but the dried glue does come off fairly easily, but it is not easy to get into that little piece there. So back like this. You can see how it sits there. One thing that's a little frustrating about the glue press is when you put the top back on. Oops. Okay, when you put the top back on, what are you supposed to, how are you supposed to hold it up? Oh, okay. Like this? I guess so. And if it goes the other way. No. I guess you put it in like this backwards. It's not completely obvious, but I guess that sort of works. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't see another way. Does it go just in like that? I don't know. It's not exactly clear. Like, how do you kind of set it up when it doesn't go in like that? So I guess you either set it like this or set it like this. And I guess that works. That works okay. It's just not immediately obvious. I'm not sure if this is doing damage to the, no, I guess it's okay. Yeah, it's not terribly obvious how it's supposed to stand up there. But anyway, so for my final review of the glue press, as I was using this on the back pieces here, I was having to press harder and harder and harder to get the glue out, which makes sense, I guess, because I'm using more glue. But I will say that, again, it started to strain right in here. So if you're somebody with like carpal tunnel or something like that, where you're thinking like, oh, I'll get this because this will make it easier for me to get the glue out, I don't think that that's true. At least it wasn't for me. It was causing strain right there. I found this is actually a lot easier to use. It was a lot easier for me to control, a lot easier for me to get more precise. This, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as easy to get the super precise layers and stuff of the glue that you're looking for necessarily. So my final review on this, guys, I can't recommend it. I don't not recommend it, if that makes sense. I just don't think it's very necessary. I don't think that it sets out what it's supposed to do, which is to make it easier, which is to make it more precise. I don't think it does either of those things. And I'm sorry to say that because I had high hopes for this. Now, for the reason that I got it, which was basically being able to put it down and not have it dry out, it did do that. So, you know, I guess for that piece, for the reason that I got it, that works. If that's what's important to you, that also works. I do think that this probably is like a first, not necessarily prototype, because the prototype is what they would send to, you know, the factory to figure out how to make it. But I guess this would be like, you know, the beta version, where it just feels like it's not completely ready yet, if that makes sense. It feels like a little more engineering or something could have gone into this to make it easier to actually pull and to not cause that strain there. I don't know, you tell me if you had a similar experience, but for $45, I can't say, yes, run out and buy this. I would say it does what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't do it any better than just your glue bottle with a fine tip on it. So anyway, there you have it. There's my review, and I hope that was helpful to you. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. It's really helpful. And let me know what you think. Let me know what your experience was. Have a great day.